A child doesn't just vanish into the night, yet on May 3, 2007, that's exactly what happened. The seaside resort of Praia da Luz in Portugal was calm, the kind of place families chose for quiet holidays. But inside apartment 5A, the stillness was shattered when 3-year-old Madeleine McCann was discovered missing from her bed. Her parents were only a short walk away, dining with friends, checking on the children throughout the evening. Then, suddenly, she was gone. No broken windows, no forced entry. No trace. It is one of the most haunting disappearances in modern history. A mystery that began in a single instant, in a room where a little girl should have been safe. The McCann family had chosen Praia da Luz, a quiet coastal village in Portugal, for a relaxing spring break. The resort was picturesque, whitewashed apartments, cobblestone streets, and the Atlantic breeze carrying the scent of salt and sunscreen. It was the kind of place where parents felt safe, where children could play without worry. Kate and Jerry McCann, both doctors, had come with their 3 children, Madeleine and her younger twin siblings, as well as a group of close friends. The evenings followed a routine. The adults gathered at the Tapas restaurant just a short walk from the apartments, while the children slept inside. Every 20 to 30 minutes, one of the parents would slip away to check on them. It was meant to be the perfect holiday, a week of sun, laughter, and familiarity. But on the night of May 3rd, that sense of safety would shatter forever. May 3rd, 2007 began like any other day of the McCann's holiday: sunshine, swimming, and the children tucked into bed by 8:30 p.m. That evening, Kate and Jerry joined their friends for dinner at the Tapas bar, just 55 meters away from their apartment. From the table, they couldn't see the room, but they had a plan. Every half hour, one parent would return to check on the sleeping children. At 9:05 p.m., Jerry McCann went back to apartment 5A. He saw his children sleeping peacefully, Madeleine lying where she had been tucked in earlier. Everything seemed normal. He returned to dinner. At 9:30, another friend in the group checked in. Again, nothing seemed unusual. But at 10 p.m., when Kate McCann walked into the bedroom, the world changed. The window was slightly open, the shutters raised. Madeleine's bed was empty. Her beloved cuddle toy remained, but she was gone. In that instant, panic swept through the resort. A parent's worst nightmare had become a terrifying reality. Within minutes of Kate's discovery, the quiet resort descended into chaos. Shouts echoed through the narrow walkways as staff, tourists, and locals rushed to search every corner: apartments, swimming pools, alleyways, even the rocky shoreline. The sound of Madeleine's name carried into the night, a desperate chorus growing louder with every passing minute. But those first critical hours were marred by confusion. The police response was slow, and the crime scene was never properly sealed. Neighbors, friends, and strangers poured into the apartment, leaving behind footprints, fingerprints, and contamination that would later cripple the investigation. By dawn, hundreds of people had searched the area, yet there was no sign of Madeleine, no cries, no belongings, no trail to follow. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. Within 24 hours, Madeleine's face was on every television screen in Portugal. Within days, it spread across Europe, and soon, the entire world knew her name. The blonde-haired, bright-eyed 3-year-old became the most recognizable missing child since the case of JonBenet Ramsey. The McCanns, once private parents on holiday, were thrust into the global spotlight. Cameras followed their every move. They gave emotional appeals, holding Madeleine's toy, begging for her safe return. Donations poured in. World leaders spoke her name. The case had become a symbol of vulnerability, a nightmare no parent wanted to imagine. But as sympathy grew, so did suspicion. The media frenzy turned ruthless. Headlines shifted from asking, "Where is Madeleine?" to "Did her parents know more than they admitted?" And the story, once a desperate search for a little girl, began to twist into something far more complicated. As the investigation unfolded, theories about Madeleine's disappearance multiplied. The most widely accepted possibility was abduction, that someone entered the apartment and took her while her parents dined just steps away. Witnesses claimed to have seen a man carrying a small child near the resort that night, sparking an international hunt for a mysterious stranger. But suspicion soon turned inward. Portuguese police began to focus on Kate and Jerry McCann themselves, suggesting an accidental death and a cover-up. For months, the parents lived under a cloud of accusation, though no evidence ever proved their involvement. Other theories suggested child trafficking, a burglary gone wrong, or even that Madeleine had wandered out on her own. Each possibility opened new questions, but none provided the answers that everyone desperately sought. As the years rolled on, the search for Madeleine became a trail of hope followed by heartbreak. Tips poured in from around the world, sightings in Spain, Morocco, even Australia. Each one raised the possibility that she might still be alive. Each one ended in disappointment. Detectives pursued forensic leads too. In 2011, Scotland Yard launched Operation Grange, a full review of the case. New DNA technology, re-examined evidence, and hundreds of interviews kept the investigation alive, but nothing ever brought Madeleine home. For her parents, every knock at the door, every phone call, carried both dread and hope. The world had moved on to new headlines, but for the McCanns, time had frozen on that night in 2007. Their daughter was gone, and yet, never forgotten. More than 16 years later, Madeleine McCann's disappearance remains one of the most infamous mysteries in the world. Investigators continue to pursue leads, including a German man named Christian Bruckner, now considered a prime suspect. Yet despite renewed efforts, no definitive evidence has ever explained what truly happened that night. Madeleine would be 20 years old today. Her image, once a toddler's face on missing posters, now lingers in digitally aged photographs, an attempt to imagine the young woman she might have become. For her parents, the search has never ended. And so the question remains, what really happened to Madeleine McCann? Until an answer is found, this case will continue to haunt not just one family, but the entire world. What do you think happened that night in Praia da Luz? Share your theory in the comments, and if you want more chilling true crime stories, make sure to subscribe for the next mystery.